There's a dangerous moment that comes for every man. Not the moment you fail, not the moment someone betrays you, not even the moment you lose everything. It's the moment right after. When you're sitting in the wreckage and you have to make a deadly choice. You either stay broken or you rebuild yourself into something the world can't touch again. Most men never make that choice. They spend their entire lives hoping fairness will arrive, hoping people will change, hoping the universe will reward their goodness. But fairness is a fairy tale, and hope without action is just suffering in slow motion. There are two versions of you breathing right now. Version 1 explains himself constantly, apologizes for his presence, tolerates disrespect to keep peace, and secretly hopes people will finally see his value. He gives and gives until he's hollow, wondering why the more he sacrifices, the less they respect him. Then there's version 2, the silent storm. The man who doesn't argue because he doesn't need to prove anything. He removes himself from chaos without explanation. He protects his peace like it's sacred ground. You've been living as version 1 for too long, and it's turned you soft and hollow. Marcus Aurelius didn't command the Roman Empire by being liked. He ruled by being immovable, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to become that. There are 7 irreversible shifts that will transform you from weak to untouchable. Each one will cost you something. Your need to be understood, your fear of being alone, your addiction to approval. But by the end, you'll walk differently, talk differently, command respect without saying a word. Stay until the end, because what I reveal in Shift 6 will damage your understanding of loyalty forever. Before we begin, drop this in the comments. I will not break again. And if you're watching this from anywhere in the United States, I need you to hit that like button and drop in the comments where this message is reaching you tonight. Because what I'm about to share isn't theory. It's the framework that separates men who get devoured in the jungle from men who command the jungle. Number 1. Stop bleeding for wolves. Your greatest weakness was never your heart. It was who you handed it to. You've been pouring yourself into people who drain you dry and never fill your cup back. You kept helping, forgiving, showing up, thinking eventually they'd recognize your worth. But here's the truth. Marcus Aurelius understood cold and clear. What you give freely, people value cheaply. In human psychology, generosity without boundaries signals weakness. When you're always available, always forgiving, always understanding, people unconsciously categorize you as someone they can exploit. They don't respect what costs them nothing. Marcus would sit in his tent after brutal campaigns, surrounded by men who owed him their lives, and he wrote this: "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He wasn't being cynical. He was being prepared. The ungrateful are predators. They don't attack your body. They attack your guilt. They make you feel wrong for protecting yourself. Every time you tolerated disrespect, you taught them you were disposable. Every explanation you gave about your worth proved you didn't believe in it yourself. That's the silent mechanism behind why good men get broken first. Not because they're kind, but because they confuse kindness with being harmless. Your energy is finite. Every ounce you waste on people who take without giving is power stolen from your future. Withdraw it. Guard it like ammunition. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Because detachment isn't cruelty, it's correction. The moment you stop rewarding betrayal with access, power shifts. You become the one who decides who gets your time and who fades into nothing. Marcus wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop explaining, stop defending, start removing. Some people deserve your distance more than your devotion, and that's not cold, that's clarity." Drop this affirmation, my kindness has limits. Number 2. Forge yourself in fire. Pain is not your enemy. It's your university. The difference between men who rise and men who rot isn't the amount of suffering they endured, it's what they did with it. Weak men drown in pain because they're still searching for fairness. They think the universe owes them healing. But the ruthless know better. Pain is currency. You either invest it in becoming dangerous or waste it complaining. Marcus Aurelius lost his children, watched plagues decimate his people, faced betrayal from men he trusted. And through all that chaos, he wrote one of the most powerful lines in history. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wasn't talking about positive thinking. He was talking about ownership. When you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what can I extract from this, you transform. Pain becomes information. It shows you exactly where you were weak, who you trusted too easily, where you placed your worth. Every betrayal is data. Every failure is intelligence. The strong don't run from suffering. They dissect it like a scientist examining a weapon. Most people cry to feel better. The powerful reflect to get stronger. When they're hurt, they don't seek closure. They create power. They study their enemies instead of hating them. They analyze their mistakes instead of escaping them. They turn heartbreak into discipline, disappointment into focus. And here's what most never realize. The moment you stop fearing pain, you become unpredictable. When people try to manipulate you through guilt, rejection, or abandonment, it no longer works because you've already survived worse. You've walked through fire and came out forged. That energy is unmistakable. People feel it when you enter a room. The presence of a man who turned his wounds into weapons. The next time life breaks you, don't curse it. Study it. Ask yourself, what advantage is hidden here? Because every moment of agony carries a seed of power if you're ruthless enough to extract it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My pain builds power. Number 3, kill the need to be understood. You keep explaining yourself, hoping people will finally see your intentions. But here's the cold reality. Most people don't care to understand you. They care to categorize you. And the more you explain, the more ammunition you give them. In the psychology of power, understanding equals control. When people know your motives, they know how to manipulate you. That's why the dangerous stay silent. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and barely justified a single decision. He understood that power doesn't explain itself. It simply exists. When you rush to defend your choices, you broadcast insecurity. You're admitting you still need validation. The most intimidating men in history weren't loud, they were composed. Their silence created tension, and that tension created respect. Every time you explain your distance, your standards, your silence, you give away the blueprint of your emotions. You're teaching people exactly how to disarm you. The wise don't justify, they act. Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Not to argue, not to explain, to simply become someone they can no longer touch. When you stop defending yourself, you become unreadable. And when you're unreadable, you're dangerous. People can't control what they can't predict. That's psychological dominance. Let them misunderstand you. Let them call you cold, arrogant, detached. Every false label they attach is another layer of armor. Your silence isn't just defense, it's offense. It forces others to reveal themselves. They'll project, assume, expose their insecurities trying to figure you out. And while they're busy guessing, you're busy observing. That's how you stay 10 steps ahead. Now, before I show you the next shift, I need you to do something. Smash that like button if this is landing, and subscribe, because what's coming will rewire how you protect yourself forever. Number 4, detach or be destroyed. Attachment is the chain that turns powerful men into slaves. The more you chase what's walking away, the smaller you become. Detachment isn't coldness, it's control. It's the ability to walk away from anything that threatens your self-respect, no matter how much you want it. Marcus Aurelius understood this at a molecular level. He wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." When someone disrespects you, the weak argue, the powerful vanish, silence becomes the message, absence becomes the punishment. In a world built on emotional manipulation, detachment is rebellion. It terrifies manipulators because it kills their power source, your reaction. Once you stop reacting, you become unreadable. When you're unreadable, you're feared. The secret weapon of the truly dangerous isn't rage, it's indifference. Indifference burns colder than hate and lasts longer than love. When people can no longer predict how you'll respond, they lose control over you. That's when your energy shifts. You stop being the one who waits and start being the one who decides. The ones who once ignored you suddenly notice your silence, because silence from a reactive man is louder than any confrontation. Marcus believed that control over emotions was the foundation of every effective leader. He said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is why you need to stop giving people power over your internal state. True strength is loving someone deeply, yet walking away the second they disrespect you. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care correctly about yourself first. Because when you stop begging, you stop bleeding. And when you stop bleeding, no one can feed on you again." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose peace over people. Number 5. Boundaries are sovereignty. Boundaries are the invisible walls separating power from chaos. Without them, your life becomes an open field where anyone can enter, take what they want, and leave you destabilized. You've been taught that saying no makes you unkind. But the absence of boundaries is self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius commanded legions, yet he wrote this: "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." He wasn't saying ignore harm. He was saying control the terms of engagement. Boundaries are gates that protect what's sacred inside you. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. And clarity terrifies manipulators because it destroys their leverage. In power dynamics, boundaries are weapons. The person who enforces them dictates every relationship. When you calmly say no without guilt, you communicate dominance. When you cut off access after betrayal, you announce your worth is non-negotiable. The powerful don't argue about respect, they demonstrate it through distance. Forgiveness without consequences is submission. Mercy without structure invites chaos. The moment you stop rewarding bad behavior with your presence, you command respect. The fearful call it arrogance. The weak label it ego. But the wise recognize it as self-command. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Once you start protecting your space like a fortress, parasites vanish. Noise fades, peace returns. Boundaries filter the loyal from the opportunistic. They make your presence feel earned, not available. To live without boundaries is to live without dignity. To live with them is to command your world with silent authority. Every boundary you set declares, "This is where my peace begins," and those who value you will never ask you to lower your armor. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries protect me. Number 6. Never show full loyalty. Now listen closely, because this is where soft men get destroyed. Loyalty is power only when it's selective. The moment you give it blindly, it becomes your prison. Marcus Aurelius watched senators he trusted plot against Rome. He learned early, blind loyalty is a death sentence. The world isn't moved by goodness, it's moved by strategy. When you show absolute loyalty to anyone, friend, mentor, leader, you surrender independence. They start viewing your devotion as weakness, not virtue. The loyal are predictable, and predictability is death in the game of power. True loyalty must be calculated, never emotional. It serves your growth, your mission, your rising. Once it stops serving those, it must be re-evaluated. Most men stay loyal out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being labeled disloyal, fear of losing approval. These are the same men who end up discarded when they're no longer useful. The powerful never attach to the person. They attach to the opportunity. They know alliances shift. They don't resist it. They navigate it. Marcus wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This means, never make yourself wholly dependent on anyone. The illusion of loyalty is more powerful than loyalty itself. Let people believe you're on their side while remaining internally free. When you're too loyal, people stop respecting you. They test your boundaries. They exploit your devotion. They stop fearing your withdrawal. Fear maintains order. When people know you can walk away without hesitation, they treat your loyalty as privilege, not guarantee. Give loyalty like a blade, sharp, deliberate, only when it cuts in your favor, never like a gift. Gifts are forgotten, weapons are remembered. This makes you unpredictable, which is the ultimate advantage. Remember, loyalty without strategy is self-betrayal. Your allegiance belongs to your purpose, not to people who come and go. Now, everything you've learned so far has been building to this final shift. This is the evolution that ties it all together. The moment you master this, no one can ever break you again. This is where you stop being a participant in the world's chaos and become something else entirely. Number 7. Become untouchable. Becoming untouchable is the final evolution. It's the point where no insult, betrayal, or manipulation can pierce your armor. This isn't cruelty or arrogance, it's complete sovereignty over yourself. The world will always throw chaos. People will always test you. The weak break, the fearful react, but the untouchable. They move like shadows over battlefields, unaffected, unshaken, unowned. Marcus Aurelius wrote this while surrounded by enemies, plague, and war. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. True freedom comes from inner mastery. To become untouchable, you must stop chasing love, approval, validation. These are traps that keep you tethered to others' whims. The world doesn't reward kindness. It respects power, self-possession, and relentless clarity. When you stop relying on others to feed your ego, you reclaim energy. That energy becomes a fortress, shielding you from manipulation, deceit, distraction. The untouchable build themselves deliberately. They invest in skills, discipline, strategy, not approval. People fear what they cannot control. Once you detach from expectation, from reaction, from the need to be understood, you become a psychological enigma. No one can predict your moves. No one can pull strings. You've removed the levers. The untouchable don't act from emotion. They act from strategy. Anger is measured. Fear is irrelevant. Desire is disciplined. You become the axis around which chaos spins, unmoved by storms that collapse others. Marcus said, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Being untouchable means people hesitate before testing you. It's the quiet declaration that you're no longer accessible for exploitation. No betrayal, no insult, no manipulation unsettles you because you're complete within yourself. You're no longer a reflection of others' opinions. You're the sum of your strategy and will. When you reach this level, power becomes effortless. People sense it instinctively. They respect or fear it, but they cannot ignore it. You move through the world untouchable because you've mastered the only thing that ever mattered, yourself. You see, the world will try to break you. It will test your patience, betray your trust, punish your kindness. For too long, you've let others dictate your peace. You've given energy to the unworthy, begged for understanding, let attachment chain you to disappointment. But that ends now. You now have the blueprint to become someone no one can manipulate, exploit, or touch. You've learned to stop bleeding for wolves. You've turned pain into power. You've killed the need to be understood, detached from what drains you, fortified yourself with unbreakable boundaries. You've mastered silence, wielded loyalty strategically, and evolved into someone untouchable. None of this is luck. None of it is easy. But every step you take strips the world of leverage over you. This is the version of you the world cannot bend, manipulate, or break. Stand firm. Walk through life with clarity and composure. Become the man who decides without apology, commands without announcement, rises without permission. The world will notice the difference, but only after you become ruthless about it. If this lesson hit you where it needed to, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more ancient frameworks that make you stronger, smarter, impossible to break. You're no longer the version that bends, you're the version that commands. Drop this final affirmation: I am unshakable now.